So the team of the week for week 11, the results are in. I've had a look through the stats and had a re-look at some of the games. Not the whole games, just a few highlights. And yeah, I've had a wee narrow down. There's a few teams kind of overrepresented, some teams not represented at all, which is kind of business as usual, I guess, for the team of the week. But yeah, also appreciate the comments prior to this video going out with some suggestions. I always have a look and check out those guys' stats as well, just to have a look, even if they don't actually make the team. Right, start with the props. From the Jaguares, I've gone with Chaparro. He's not a first-timer in this squad. He plays a lot of minutes, and scrum definitely looks better with him in it. He's pretty dominant, and he was a large part of that excellent performance against the Blues. 11 from 12 tackles, 10 runs, 9 meters. Just an all-round good performance. Nothing flashy, but yeah, he's just one of the rocks in that Jaguares pack. So it's always good to see him playing. Next, I've gone with JP Smith from the Reds. So he's one of the few props this week who managed to get a try. He looks really pumped up to be with the Reds, to be honest. And yeah, 7 runs, 19 meters. 2 passes, so he prefers to run it than pass it, which is not a bad thing for a prop. 10 from 10 tackles, and also in a week where they were going to be up against a pretty strong scrummaging team in the Lions, he put his hand up as well. So yeah, very good effort from Jean-Pierre. Hooker was a real tough choice because there were so many kind of good, maybe that's ominous, good guys who put their hands up this week. I've gone with Pangamosa from the Reds. He scored a try, 3 runs for 6 meters, which is not as dynamic as perhaps some other ball-carrying guys were this week, but still made 11 from 12 tackles, 9 successful line-out throws, and he is just improving generally. And like I said, the scrum for the Reds held up with JP Smith next to him. So yeah, he's an improving player. I know there were some other hookers who got tries this week, but I've gone with Pangamosa just for this one. For the locks, I have gone with Peter Steph Dutoit. He's having a pretty good season by all accounts. 4 line-out takes, 4 passes, 8 runs. Again, so a guy who's more likely to take the ball to the line, which is not a bad thing. Didn't make a whole lot of meters, but made 16 out of 17 tackles. Just overall kind of showing that work rate that he's known for, and yeah, a big part of their victory. Other one, I've gone with Michael, oh god, the whiteboard's all over the place, Fadialofa from the Hurricanes. So he had a pretty good run. 14 out of 15 tackles. 4 runs, 8 meters, 4 line-out takes, 1 line-out steal. You know, the Hurricanes were playing the Sunwolves, so we kind of put that into a bit of context, but the Sunwolves line-out has been getting a lot better. And Grant Hadding was playing, and I'm pretty sure he's a fair bit taller than Fadialofa, so yeah, just a good effort from them. In the loose forwards, gone for another Hurricane in Reed Princep. Try not to push my whiteboard over this time. So he's yeah, he scored a try, got a try assist, 6 runs, 20 meters, 13 out of 15 tackles. It's pretty much the all-round package. He's 25 when I checked, so it's a bit older than I actually thought, but he's definitely a guy who seems like he's still got a bit of potential and hasn't quite kind of hit his ceiling. Next, and a guy who's not really an all-round package player. I've gone with Luke Whitelock from the Highlanders. When I say he's not really an all-round package, he's pretty much there to do one job. He doesn't like the ball, so he had only 2 runs and 5 passes. So when he gets the ball, he prefers to shovel it on. But he made 23 out of 25 tackles. It's just, I mean, he must be just angry at the ball. Anytime he sees someone with the ball, he wants to tackle them. And when he gets the ball, he just wants to get rid of it. So, Yeah, he's in the team to do a job, and it is to tackle. So he didn't give away any penalties. First 2 runs, he didn't make any meters. So, but yeah, for that job he does it pretty well. He's always up there with his tackle count. I think last year he was the top tackler. So, yes. And next, a lock who was playing loose forward last week. I've gone with Jason Jenkins from the Bulls. So he scored a try, which was clever because he used those long lock arms of his to dot the ball down to make sure he had enough kind of reach for it. 12 runs, 9 meters, 6 out of 8 tackles, 5 line-out takes, which if you're counting him as a loose forward is a pretty good effort. So, yeah, I'm not sure if Mitch will go with him in the loose forwards regularly, but like Franco Mostert's been playing in the loosies for the Lions pretty regularly, although he's, I would say, better at lock. He's just another option. So, yeah, at least he's getting some game time because he's a good player. Scrum half, I have gone for Aaron Smith. He's just class. A try assist. Remember, they only scored 2 tries, so a try and assist. He had his hands in both of them. 4 runs, 39 meters, 2 out of 3 tackles. He's just always a top player. There's a reason he's the first choice All Black scrum half. Next, another player who is kind of just exuding class at the moment is Andre Pollard. So he got a try assist, sounds familiar. 25 passes, 13 runs. So he probably has a higher percentage of runs compared to passes than most fly halves, which, again, as a defender, you never know if you should be looking to the man outside him or if you should be marking the man himself, which is, it's just a good thing to do because it just plants that seed of doubt in the defender's mind. 83 meters he ran, which is very good. 4 defenders beaten, 1 line break, 4 from 4 tackles, 100% from the boot. Couldn't get the result, but he did everything he could to try and get it. Next, in the midfield, I have gone for Damien Delende. This second midfield spot was a bit harder than the first one. The first one was an obvious choice, but for Damien Delende, he's got a try. 7 passes, 12 runs, so again, a decent kind of mix of passing and running it, so he's not just a ball hog and not letting it get out past him, but he's also making sure he takes it to the line a bit. 46 meters, 2 line breaks, 6 defenders beaten, 5 from 5 tackles. Good effort. The number 1 guy was Vince Asa. He was pretty much the first guy on this team sheet because, I mean, he could have had 4 tries if he wasn't denied by some TMO action, but 2 tries, 2 try assists, 10 passes, 12 runs, so again, very nice balance, 103 meters, 5 line breaks, 5 defenders beaten, and 6 from 6 tackles. Made 4 offloads as well, so just, yeah, where's his best position? I don't know, but he's a pretty good player. Next, outside backs, and I think it's the first time we've seen the bus on this board, Julian Savia. So the bus, 11 runs, 105 meters, 3 defenders beaten, didn't have to make a tackle. Yeah, it's interesting, only 3 defenders beaten, which is kind of small for him. Like, that seems to be one difference between the Julian Savia now and the Julian Savia of old, is he used to bust tackles for fun, but now he's getting tackled a fair bit. So this was a bit more like the Julian Savia we're used to seeing, so we'll see if that can kind of pick up into games going forward. But again, we'll take a bit of the opposition into account with that. Next, and it's getting pretty crowded with Hurricanes over here, so Jordy Barrett kicked the conversion, scored a try, 10 runs, 97 meters, 3 defenders beaten, 5 offloads, 2 out of 3 tackles. Yeah, just had another good game. That fullback spot for the All Blacks is looking pretty crowded, you have to say. And lastly, from a game which wasn't that great to watch, he was pretty great to watch in it. So Manasa Mataele from the Crusaders, 2 tries. I mean, he's the only guy who came off the bench, I'm sure. Most of these guys I pick week to week are starters, but Mataele came off the bench, albeit earlier than expected. 10 runs, 2 passes, so he's running it. You know, he's pretty much going to run it when he gets the ball. 73 meters, 8 defenders beaten, which is what Julian Savia kind of used to be doing. Made his 1 tackle successfully. And in the end of the day, it was kind of a really important part of the Crusaders getting that win, because it wasn't that different a scoreline. So yeah, that's the team when they're not falling off the board or the board falling over. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them despite those ominous signs. Like I said about hooker, was really there were multiple choices, and if you watched any of the games, you'll know who I'm referring to. The midfield also had some outside backs. A lot of positions really. I'll be happy to take your guys' suggestions as to who you thought had good games. I'm pretty sure Arso is a lock in terms of him not being kind of replaceable. In terms of his stats, he just had a blinder. But for the most part, maybe Pollard. I don't know. Always keen to get your feedback, so let me know who you thought also has good games. I'll have a chat with you there. And yeah, I'll talk to you again another time soon.